we're bringing in Joe Lunardi, Joey Buckets, one of the best in the business. Always great to have you on with Erin and I. So, Joe, let's get right to it. And, a shakeup, right? The top four, Auburn's lost Saturday to Florida. What are you looking at heading into this week's games that have the most impact in regard to how the bracket is going to be decided? What games, what teams should we be eyeing this week?
I think the top three are reasonably safe at this point. You just spent some time on Gonzaga, of course. They're going to be a number one seed. Arizona has slotted in just behind them, giving us two West Coast teams at the top of the bracket. Kansas leading arguably the best league in the country. The Big 12, they're on the top line, but it was Auburn that took a tumble on the road, and right now they would be the fourth number one seed on our board, just ahead of another team from the SEC, Kentucky. So when we look ahead to this week, we have to look all the way ahead to Saturday. Auburn plays Tennessee, a game the Tigers could lose. The Wildcats play Arkansas, another toss-up in that great league. We could easily see those teams flip. I think there will be an SEC team on the top line come Selection Sunday, but I'm not anywhere near convinced that it will be the Tigers.
And Providence and Houston have both, been at it, keeping the streak going. They had an overtime win on a road, both of these teams. If you had to pick one to make a deep run, which one would it be out of those two?
That's a tough one because Houston was in the Final Four a year ago. But, boy, they're overachieving. They lost their best player, Marcus Sasser, early in the conference season. They're down another guard. Have been nicked a bit lately, losing home games to Memphis and SMU. Escaped Wichita yesterday in double overtime. So I'll go with Ed Cooley's Providence Friars. They've been the master of the comeback and even more the master of the close game. They were down 19 yesterday on the road at Hinkle Fieldhouse Butler and came back to win. They played a phenomenal game to the wire against Villanova and lost last week, but they're still leading the Big East standings. I like the Friars if they can keep their good fortune going in close games because, let's face it, in the tournament, that's pretty much all there are.
Joe, let's talk about what happened yesterday. Sad state of affairs in regard to the Michigan and Wisconsin game. Both head coaches getting into a scrum. We saw Howard throw some blows. And this isn't the first time he's had some issues, right? Like a little heated, a little hot top. So what can we expect? Suspensions coming down, and how is this going to affect both these teams as we get closer to March Madness?
This is really a Michigan story because Wisconsin, no matter who's coaching, is going to be a high seed in the Big Ten tournament and a high seed in the NCAA tournament. Their postseason status is not really up for debate. Michigan, on the other hand, is one of the last four teams in the field as we currently have it configured. So very much in play in their final four regular season games and the Big Ten tournament. By rule, the Big Ten can suspend Juwan Howard for up to 2 games for a code of conduct violation. I have to think that the Michigan administration is either going to go along with or add to that. So who knows when we'll see Howard back. Fortunately, the Wolverines have a veteran coaching staff and veteran players. So, you would think on the court, they would be all right. Of course, famously in 1989, Michigan head coach Bill Frieder left the program to take another job right before the NCAA tournament. And all those Wolverines did was cut down the nets in Seattle and win a national championship.
All right, Joe, and lastly, we had the Super Bowl, we have the NBA All-Star Game. Those are the rearview mirror. Now people are turning their attention towards bracket prep. Are there any big bubble games that we should keep our eye on for this week?
Oh, my goodness, yes. A couple come to mind right away. If you're a fan of mid-majors, in the Ohio Valley Conference, Murray State is one of 3 teams in the country that is still unbeaten in league play. They play Belmont on Thursday night in an ESPN 2 game. That's a huge contest for Murray State's at-large chances and Belmont's as well. The last tournament before the pandemic, very similar situation. Murray State had a guy, I'm trying to remember, somebody pretty good job, Morant, somebody, and both made the tournament. We could be headed in that direction again. And then keep an eye on the West Coast Conference. San Francisco and St. Mary's host Gonzaga on Thursday and Saturday night, respectively. San Francisco really needs a marquee win to cement its status. My friends at St. Mary's are probably safely in at this point.
Joe, thanks so much. I have to admit, I lost money to Murray State over the weekend. I had them minus 12.5. They only won by 2. So I'm a little biased there. They lost.
Well, and they were fortunate to win it all.
Joey, thank you so much for joining us on this President's Day. Happy President's Day to you.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.